In this video on marketing list functionality within Microsoft Dynamics for Sales, we're going to build on the first video we did, which was very much an introduction, and we're just going to flesh out a bit using the advanced find type capabilities to build your marketing list, specifically combining queries that use ands and ors. Now, as I say, this is one in a series that we're doing, so you can see links to others in the series below. Also, if you've got any content suggestions, or indeed if you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. So in the first video we did, the introductory video, we created some test marketing lists. And if I go to the one we created called test 3, now this was a dynamic list. Now the principles we're going to cover today apply to both dynamic and static lists. I know they're quite different beasts in reality, but the tools we use around that sort of advanced find styled querying capabilities applies to both. So the principles we're going to cover are useful regardless of the type of marketing list you're building. If we go to, in fact, first I'll just show the members we've got. So we've just got a couple of members at the moment. If I go to the dynamic criteria we're using to bring back that membership and just open that up, we can see we were asking for contacts because the list we set up was based on contacts. List can only be for contacts, accounts, or leads. We chose contacts, which is what most marketing lists are generally for, and the criteria we used in this particular case was that they had a status of active, i.e. we hadn't deactivated them because they'd gone away or we deduplicated them. They got an email address. Email address contains data, and they were in the city of Redmond. And as we saw there, that only gave us a couple of records. Now let's say we want to extend that out a bit. Let's say we want to extend that list to include people in Seattle. So logically speaking, I might suppose that if I added a row, in other words, added another field, selected address one city again, and then put in equals Seattle, type that in because this is a free text. In principle, I might figure that's going to give me the information I need. So if I click find, and you can see it's come back and says no data available. So something's wrong. So I go back to the query and take a look at that. And if you think about it, logically speaking, you can't have your address simultaneously in Redmond and Seattle. So we need to cater for that. They're kind of mutually exclusive. So we need to make those two criteria into an OR. At the moment, this is all ANDs, status active, email contains data, and in the city of Redmond, and in Seattle. We need to make those two ORs. So the way we do that is I just tick those, and then at the end of either row, we can see 3 dots. Doesn't matter which one we choose. I can just select those 3 dots and then select group, and it groups those two together. And then the last thing I need to do is change that AND to be an OR grouping. So we've now got an OR statement, so they can be in either Redmond or Seattle. If I click find now, it's brought back 6 records, so that's increased the numbers in that marketing list from 2 to 6. So we're going to use that query. Now, if I wanted to extend that further, I can add further OR criteria if I wanted to. So if I actually wanted to, let's use job title. So we want people with specific job titles. Obviously, you can't have 2 job titles per se, so we're going to use an OR statement again. This time, I'm going to start from scratch. Before, I sort of group those together. But now if I can add a group from the beginning, when I click add group, it'll assume I'm going to group them together anyway. And then we said job title, and we're going to do a contains. Again, it's free text, this particular one. Let's put job title contains owner, and then we'll add another row, and we'll put in job title contains purchasing, let's say. And then we just need to remember to change that to an OR. We'll just OK that. We can find, and then brings back 6 records, but that's correct. Those records all are owners or purchasing. The one thing you'll notice, and it's one of the slight issues with the marketing list functionality, unlike advanced finds where you can change the columns that come back, you are restricted to whatever your standard set of columns is that your administrator set up for this. That can be changed, but this is not something you can sort of change on the fly. So I'm just going to go back to my query for 1 second. The last thing I'm going to mention is you don't need to create OR statements if the field you're using is a pick list. So in this example, if I add a row, and let's say preferred method of contact, let's just jump to there. If I can spot it, preferred method of contact. Now this is a pick list. What I can do there is I've got multiple values. I can just add any of those values to it. So I don't need to do that as an OR statement. I had to do it before with the others because those were free text fields. This one is actually a pick list field. So if I find that, again, because we've used every value there, it doesn't reduce the list. So let's say if it's a pick list field, you can select multiple pick list values. You don't need to use the OR criteria in order to build a query. Anyway, hopefully that's helped in terms of using slightly more advanced finds to build out your marketing lists. If you want to see other videos in this series, see the links below. If you've got any suggestions for future content, or indeed you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. Thank you very much for your time today. Hopefully see you again soon.